The crystal towers of Velthara stretched up toward the purple sky like frozen lightning. Inside the largest tower, the Galactic Dominion's War Council sat around a table made from a single piece of black stone. The room hummed with power from the energy shields that protected the building from the planet's violent storms. Fleet Admiral Zixthak stood at the head of the table. His silver skin gleamed under the bright lights, and his four arms moved as he spoke. Behind him, a large screen showed images of a small blue planet spinning in space. "This is Earth," he said, his voice echoing in the chamber. "The third planet, from a yellow star. Our scouts have been watching it for many cycles. The beings there call themselves humans." The other members of the council leaned forward to look at the images. They saw cities with tall buildings, roads filled with moving vehicles, and ships floating on blue oceans. Everything looked small and weak compared to their own advanced civilization. "How many of them are there?" asked General Vextar, her red eyes glowing with interest. "About 8 billion, Zixthak replied. "They live on every part of their planet. They have built machines and simple spacecraft, but their technology is thousands of years behind ours." Commander Thisek laughed, a sound like grinding metal. 8 billion primitives on one small world. Why do we even need a full fleet? A single ship could conquer them." The screen changed to show human weapons. Crude metal projectiles, simple explosives, and basic energy weapons appeared one after another. The council members looked bored. These tools seemed like toys compared to their planet-destroying warships. "Their weapons are pathetic," said Admiral Kethron. "They still use chemical reactions to hurt each other. How long since we abandoned? Such simple methods?" 10,000 years at least," replied another voice. Zixthak smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Exactly. This will be the easiest conquest in Dominion history. We will take their world, harvest their resources, and add another system to our empire. The humans will serve us or be eliminated." The War Council began to discuss how many ships they would need. Some said 100 would be enough. Others argued for 1,000 to make sure the job was done quickly. All of them agreed that the humans would surrender as soon as they saw the Dominion fleet. But then, a new voice spoke from the shadows at the back of the room. "You are making a terrible mistake." Everyone turned toward the voice. From the darkness stepped an ancient figure that most of them recognized but few had seen in person. Elder Prophet Quindara moved slowly into the light, her aged body supported by a walking staff that glowed with soft energy. Quindara was older than anyone else in the room. Her people, the seers of Altaris, had lived for millions of years and watched countless civilizations rise and fall across the galaxy. Her skin was pale white like old bone, and her large eyes held the wisdom of ages. The council members fell silent. Even Fleet Admiral Zixthak stepped back respectfully. The seers were known throughout the galaxy for their ability to see patterns in time and space that others could not understand. "Elder Prophet," Zixthak said carefully, "we are honored by your presence. What brings you to our War Council?" Quindara moved closer to the table, her footsteps echoing in the quiet room. She looked at the images of Earth still showing on the screen, and her expression grew troubled. "I have come to warn you," she said, her voice soft, but carrying to every corner of the chamber. "Do not attack this world. Do not wake the humans from their peaceful sleep." General Vextar frowned. "Elder, with respect, these creatures pose no threat to us. Look at their primitive technology. Look at how they fight among themselves. They are divided and weak." Quindara turned her ancient eyes toward the general. "You see their divisions and call them weakness, but you do not understand what you are truly seeing." She raised her glowing staff and pointed it at the screen. The images changed to show human history. Wars and conflicts flashed by, but also moments of cooperation and achievement. Humans working together to build great structures, to heal the sick, to explore dangerous places. For millions of years I have watched species across this galaxy, the elder prophet continued. I have seen the rise of the Dominion, the fall of the Crystal Empire, the birth and death of 1,000 civilizations. But never have I seen a species quite like these humans. Commander Thesek shifted in his seat. What makes them so special? They look weak and fragmented to me. Quindara's eyes seemed to look through time itself as she answered. They fight among themselves, yes. But watch what happens when they face a common enemy. Watch what happens when their survival is threatened. The screen showed new images. Humans during great disasters, working together to save each other. Humans in wars, fighting desperately against impossible odds and somehow finding ways to win. Humans exploring dangerous places that no sane being should enter, driven by curiosity and determination. They do not know when to give up, Quindara said quietly. When other species would accept defeat, humans find new ways to fight. When their weapons fail, they make better ones. When their plans collapse, they create new plans. When faced with certain death, they charge forward anyway. Zixthak looked annoyed. Elder Prophet, surely you overestimate them. They are primitives. We have weapons that can destroy their entire planet from orbit. How can they possibly threaten us? The ancient seer turned to face him directly. Her eyes seemed to burn with inner fire as she spoke. Because you think like a Dominion commander. You think in terms of overwhelming force and quick victory. But humans do not think this way. They are chaos given form, creativity without limits, stubbornness beyond reason. She paused, letting her words sink in before continuing. You will arrive at their world expecting them to surrender when they see your power. Instead, they will study your ships while you demand their submission. They will learn from every attack you make against them. And while you follow your careful battle plans, they will do things that should be impossible. The room fell silent again. Some of the council members looked uncomfortable, but others seemed skeptical. Admiral Kethran spoke up. Even if what you say is true, Elder, we have 10,000 ships. They have perhaps a few hundred primitive vessels. Numbers do not lie. Quindara smiled sadly. Numbers. Yes, you have more ships. You have better weapons. You have superior technology in every way. But you are missing the most important thing. Which is, asked Zixthak, the will to do whatever it takes to survive. When a human's back is against the wall, when death seems certain, when all hope appears lost, that is when they become most dangerous. They will turn your own weapons against you. They will find weaknesses you never knew existed. They will refuse to die when any rational being would accept defeat. The elder prophet moved toward the door, ready to leave. But she stopped and turned. Back one last time. I have given you my warning. Attack Earth if you must. But know that you are not just declaring war on a primitive world. You are awakening something that has slept quietly at the edge of the galaxy. And once awakened, it will not rest until it has remade everything in its path. With those words, she disappeared into the shadows, leaving the War Council alone with their plans and their confidence. Fleet Admiral Zixthak looked around the table at his fellow commanders. He saw doubt in some faces, but determination in others. The elder prophet has always been overly cautious, he declared. We will proceed as planned. 10,000 ships will depart for Earth within the cycle. This conquest will be over before it truly begins. The council agreed, and the orders were given. Across the Dominion fleet, ships began preparing for war. Soldiers checked their weapons. Engineers fueled the great engines, and commanders studied maps of the human solar system. None of them truly believed the warning they had received. They had conquered hundreds of worlds and never faced serious resistance. Earth would be no different. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. Dr. Kim Ji-won rubbed her tired eyes and looked at the computer screen again. The numbers still made no sense. She had been working in her lab at Seoul National University for 14 hours straight, trying to understand the strange readings from the Deep Space Monitoring Station. "This can't be right," she whispered to herself. The gravitational sensors were showing massive distortions in the outer edges of the solar system. Something huge was moving through space, but there should be nothing there. No planets, no asteroids, no comets. Just empty darkness. Ji-won picked up her phone and called her colleague in the physics department. Dr. Park Min-ho answered on the third ring, sounding sleepy. "Min-ho, I need you to come to the lab right now," she said. "Something is very wrong with our deep space readings." "Ji-won, it's 3 in the morning. Can't this wait until tomorrow?" "No, it can't. Please, just trust me. Bring your gravitational analysis equipment." 30 minutes later, Min-ho arrived at the lab carrying a large case of instruments. His hair was messy from sleep, but his eyes became alert when he saw the data on Ji-won's screens. "These readings are impossible," he said, setting up his equipment. "What could cause gravitational waves this strong?" "That's what I've been trying to figure out," Ji-won replied. "But look at this pattern. It's not random. It's organized, like something is moving in formation." Min-ho's instruments confirmed what they both feared. The gravitational distortions were getting stronger and moving closer to Earth. Whatever was out there was massive, probably larger than anything humans had ever built. "We need to call the Space Defense Force," Min-ho said. "Captain Lee Dong-ho needs to see this." Captain Lee Dong-ho had been sleeping peacefully when his emergency phone rang. As commander of the Korean Space Defense Force, he was used to late-night calls, but something in Dr. Kim's voice made him fully awake immediately. "Captain, you need to come to the university right now," she said. "We've detected something approaching Earth. Something big." Within an hour, Lee was standing in the lab looking at the same impossible readings. His military training helped him understand the implications faster than the scientists had. "How long until whatever this is reaches Earth?" he asked. "Based on current speed and trajectory, maybe 6 hours, Min-ho answered. Lee immediately contacted his counterparts around the world. Commander Choi Soo-min in Tokyo, General Han Ji-hye at NORAD in North America, and Admiral Song Tai-yang, who commanded the newly formed United Earth Defense Fleet. The conversations were tense and hurried. Every space monitoring station on Earth was now detecting the same gravitational anomalies. Something was definitely coming, and it was bigger than anything humanity had ever encountered. "Could it be a natural phenomenon?" asked General Han during their emergency video conference. "Maybe a rogue planet or a black hole?" "The movement patterns are too organized," replied Admiral Song. "This is artificial. Someone or something is coming to visit us." As the sun rose over Seoul, Dr. Kim Ji-won was still at her computer when the readings suddenly changed. The gravitational distortions stopped moving and began to stabilize in positions around Earth. "They've stopped," she announced, to the room full of military officers and scientists. "Whatever it is, it's surrounding our planet." Captain Lee looked at the tactical display that showed Earth from space. Red dots marked the positions where the unknown objects had stopped. There were hundreds of them, maybe thousands arranged, in a perfect sphere around the planet. "It's a blockade," he said grimly. "They've cut off all our escape routes." That's when the ships became visible. All around Earth, the empty space began to shimmer and twist. Like curtains being pulled away, massive alien vessels appeared out of nowhere. They were sleek and dark, shaped like sharp crescents that gleamed with unknown metals. Each ship was larger than Earth's biggest aircraft carriers. The sight was broadcast on every television channel and internet stream on the planet. Billions of humans looked up at their sky and saw proof that they were not alone in the universe, and their visitors did not look friendly. The alien fleet hung motionless above every major city on Earth: Seoul, Tokyo, New York, London, Moscow, Beijing, Mumbai, Cairo. Wherever humans had built great centers of civilization, The dark ships waited silently. For 2 hours, nothing happened. The ships just hovered, watching. Then, every communication device on Earth activated at the same time. Televisions, radios, computers, phones, and emergency broadcast systems all carried the same message. The voice that spoke was artificial, translated into every human language simultaneously. People of Earth, we are the Galactic Dominion. We have come to claim your world and its resources. You will surrender unconditionally and submit to Dominion. Rule: you have 72 hours to comply. Any resistance will result in the complete destruction of your species. The message repeated 3 times. Then the communication channels went silent. In the university lab, everyone stared at the screens in shock. Dr. Kim Ji-won felt her hands shaking as the reality of the situation hit her. "They want us to surrender," she said quietly. "Just like that. Give up everything we've built, everything we are." Captain Lee's jaw was tight with anger. "How many ships do we have that could fight them?" Admiral Song's voice came through the video link. "The entire United Earth Defense Fleet has maybe 200 vessels. Most of them were built for asteroid mining and scientific research. We have perhaps 50 ships that could actually fight." "And they have thousands," added Commander Choi from Tokyo. The next 72 hours were the most intense in human history. World leaders held emergency meetings. Military commanders made desperate plans with inadequate resources. Scientists worked around the clock trying to learn anything about the alien technology. Dr. Park Min-ho barely left his lab as he analyzed every piece of data they had about the alien ships. "Their energy signatures are unlike anything in our physics textbooks," he told anyone who would listen. "But energy is energy. There has to be a way to disrupt it." Meanwhile, Captain Lee coordinated with defense forces around the world. They had so few ships, so few weapons. Every military leader he spoke with said the same thing. Fighting was hopeless. But something strange was happening among ordinary people. Instead of panic and chaos, humans began to organize. Neighbors helped neighbors. Strangers worked together. Emergency services reported that crime rates were actually dropping as people focused on the common threat. Dr. Kim Ji-won watched the news reports from around the world and saw something that surprised her. Humans weren't running away or hiding. They were preparing to fight. "Look at this," she said to Min-ho, pointing at the television. "Factories in Detroit are retooling to build weapons. Farmers in India are organizing supply lines. College students in Brazil are volunteering to help with anything needed." "It's like the whole species is waking up," Min-ho replied. On the second day, the aliens demonstrated their power. They destroyed the International Space Station with a single beam of energy. The station simply vanished, turned to dust in a few seconds. The message was clear: surrender or face annihilation. But the demonstration had an unexpected effect. Instead of fear, it created anger. Humans saw the destruction of their achievement in space and felt something that their enemies had not anticipated. They felt defiant. News broadcasts began carrying a different kind of message, not calls for surrender, but calls for resistance. Dr. Kim Ji-won found herself speaking on international television, her words broadcast to billions of people. "We crawled out of caves and built cities," she said, looking directly into the camera. "We survived ice ages and plagues and wars. We split the atom and reached for the stars. We didn't do all of that just to bow down to bullies." Her words were repeated and shared across every communication network on Earth. Similar messages came from people in every country, every culture, every walk of life. The 72 hours passed. Fleet Admiral Zixthak waited for Earth's surrender message. His communication officers monitored every human broadcast, expecting to receive terms of capitulation from the planet's leaders. Instead, they received something else entirely. Every human military facility, every government building, every major communication center on Earth sent the same message at exactly the same time. It was simple, direct, and unanimous. No. Just that one word. broadcast in 1,000 languages from 8 billion human voices. Fleet Admiral Zixthak stared at his communication screens in disbelief. No species had ever refused Dominion terms, not once in 10,000 years of conquest. He activated his fleet communications. All ships, prepare for orbital bombardment. These primitives have chosen destruction over submission. We will show them the price of defiance. But as his weapons powered up, Zixthak couldn't shake a nagging memory of the Elder Prophet's warning. Something about humans not knowing when to give up. He was about to find out exactly what she meant. The first alien attack came at dawn. Beams of brilliant energy struck down from the dark ships, hitting military bases around the world. Seoul's main defense facility disappeared in a flash of white light. Similar strikes hit Tokyo, Washington, Moscow, and dozens of other cities. Fleet Admiral Zixthak watched the destruction from his command ship high above Earth. The strikes were precise and devastating. Human military installations were being eliminated with surgical accuracy. "Excellent," he said to his bridge crew. "Once we destroy their ability to fight back, they will have no choice but to surrender." But something unexpected was happening on the planet below. In an underground bunker beneath Seoul, engineer Bae Sunho was already at work. The facility had been built deep in the mountains, designed to survive nuclear war. Now it served as humanity's hidden workshop. "Bring me everything," Sunho shouted to his team as explosions echoed from above. "Every piece of alien debris, every crashed fragment, every sensor reading we have." His colleague, Dr. Yoon Haeun, ran into the bunker carrying a metal case. Inside were twisted pieces of unknown metal that had fallen from the sky during the alien ship's arrival. "This material is incredible," she said, setting up her analysis equipment. "It's lighter than aluminum but stronger than steel. And look at these energy patterns." Sunho examined the alien metal under a powerful microscope. The structure was unlike anything he had ever seen. Crystalline patterns flowed through the material like frozen lightning. "It's not just metal," he realized. "It's some kind of programmable matter. The molecular structure changes based on electrical input." Above ground, the alien bombardment continued. But instead of hiding in fear, humans began doing something that confused their attackers. They started collecting the debris from alien weapons that had missed their targets. Captain Lee Dongho coordinated the collection efforts from his mobile command post. Every piece of alien technology that hit the ground was gathered and rushed to hidden laboratories around the world. "They're destroying our bases," reported Commander Choi Suman from her bunker in Tokyo. "But they're also giving us samples of their technology." "Then let's make sure we use every piece," Lee replied. The alien attacks followed a predictable pattern: orbital bombardment, precise strikes, overwhelming firepower. Fleet Admiral Zixthak was using the same tactics that had worked on hundreds of other worlds. But Earth was different. While most species would retreat and hide, humans did the opposite. They studied every attack, analyzed every weapon discharge, and figured out how the alien technology worked. Dr. Park Min-ho had set up his laboratory in an abandoned subway tunnel beneath Seoul. Using portable equipment, he was studying the energy, signatures from alien weapons. "Their beam weapons use focused gravitational fields," he explained to his team. "The energy flows through quantum channels that we can detect and maybe disrupt." His wife, Dr. Nam Yoonbi, was working on communication systems. As a specialist in signal processing, she was trying to intercept alien transmissions. "I'm picking up their coordination frequencies," she reported. "Their ships talk to each other using quantum entanglement communication, but the signals have to pass through relay points." "Relay points can be jammed," Min-ho said with growing excitement. Above them, the alien fleet was getting frustrated. Their attacks were hitting targets, but the human resistance was not collapsing as expected. Instead, it seemed to be growing stronger. In the underground workshops, engineer Bae Sunho was achieving the impossible, Using nothing but human tools and alien debris, his team was reverse engineering technology that should have taken decades to understand. The key is in the crystalline structure, he explained to Dr. Yoon Hae-eun as they worked through their third straight day without sleep. Their technology grows rather than being built, but we can force it to grow in ways they never intended. Hae-eun looked at the device they had created. It was crude compared to alien technology, but it worked. A human-built weapon that could disrupt alien energy fields. This shouldn't be possible, she said. We're using technology we don't fully understand to build weapons we've never seen before. That's what humans do, Sunho replied with a tired smile. We make things work even when they shouldn't. The first test of human countermeasures came when Lieutenant Kang Woo-jin took his modified mining ship into space. The vessel had been a simple asteroid collector a week ago. Now it was humanity's first hybrid fighter. Woo-jin's ship looked pathetic compared to the sleek alien vessels. It was blocky, ugly, and held together with parts from a dozen different manufacturers. But it carried something the aliens had never seen before. Approaching alien patrol, Woo-jin reported over the radio, testing the new disruption weapon. Captain Lee listened from his command bunker as Woo-jin engaged the enemy. On paper, it should have been suicide. A converted mining ship against an advanced alien fighter. But when Woo-jin fired his weapon, something amazing happened. The alien ship's energy fields collapsed, its weapons stopped working, and its engines began to fail. "Direct hit," Woo-jin shouted. "The alien ship is dead in space." The impossible victory was broadcast to every human resistance cell on Earth. A single human pilot had defeated an alien vessel using improvised weapons and desperate courage. Fleet Admiral Zixthak received the report with disbelief. How did a primitive ship destroy one of our fighters? His technical officer studied the data. Unknown, Admiral. Their weapon somehow disrupted our quantum field generators. Our ship's systems simply stopped functioning. That should be impossible. Their technology is thousands of years behind ours. But on the Dominion flagship, Elder Prophet Quindara was watching the same reports. She had remained with the fleet to observe the battle, and what she saw confirmed her worst fears. "You still don't understand," she said quietly to herself. "They don't need to understand your technology. They just need to break it." The human resistance was spreading across the planet like wildfire. Underground factories were producing hybrid weapons. Hidden laboratories were cracking alien codes. Volunteer fighters were learning to pilot spacecraft they had helped build with their own hands. In Tokyo, Commander Choi Soo-min led a desperate mission to capture an alien supply ship. Using a converted cargo vessel and a crew of volunteers, she managed to board an enemy craft and steal its entire cargo of advanced equipment. "We have alien computers, power cores, and fabrication units," she reported to the Global Resistance Network. "Sending technical data to all research teams now." The captured alien technology accelerated human development beyond all prediction. Dr. Yoon Hae-eun's team began producing weapons that combined human creativity with alien power sources. The results were chaotic, unpredictable, and devastatingly effective. "Look at this," she said to engineer Bae Sunho, showing him their latest creation. "We took their gravitational beam weapon and modified it with human ballistic technology. It shouldn't work, but it does." The weapon looked like something built in a garage because it had been. Human engineering was rough, improvised, and completely practical. It didn't need to be elegant. It just needed to kill alien ships. And it was working. The tide of battle began to shift as more and more human fighters took to space in their hybrid vessels. Each ship was unique, built from whatever materials were available and powered by captured alien technology. Fleet Admiral Zixthak watched his casualty reports with growing alarm. He was losing ships to an enemy that shouldn't have been able to fight back at all. "How are they advancing so quickly?" he demanded. "A week ago, they barely had spaceflight. Now they're building weapons that can penetrate our shields." His science officer looked confused and frightened. They're not following any known development pattern, Admiral. They're combining technologies in ways that violate basic engineering principles. But somehow their impossible designs work. The humans were doing something that no other species in the galaxy had ever done. They were not just adapting to alien technology, they were improving it. Dr. Park Min-ho made the breakthrough that changed everything. Working in his subway laboratory, he discovered how to jam the alien quantum communication system. If we can disrupt their coordination, he explained to the global resistance leaders, their ships won't be able to work together effectively. His wife Yunbi helped coordinate the implementation. Using modified Earth satellites and captured alien transmitters, they created a jamming network that covered the entire planet. When the jamming system activated, the effect on the alien fleet was immediate and catastrophic. Ships that had worked in perfect harmony suddenly found themselves isolated and confused. "Admiral," the Dominion communication officer reported in panic. "We've lost contact with 60% of the fleet. Something is blocking our quantum channels." Fleet. Admiral Zixthak felt the first real fear he had experienced in centuries of warfare. The humans were not just resisting, they were winning. Lieutenant Kang Woo-jin, now leading a squadron of hybrid fighters, pressed the attack against the confused alien ships. His vessels looked like flying junk piles, but they moved with deadly precision. "All units, target the isolated ships," he commanded. "Show them what happens when they come to our home." The battle that followed was unlike anything in galactic history. Crude human ships held together with determination and improvised technology. 3 months had passed since the aliens first arrived at Earth. What Fleet Admiral Zixthak had expected to be a quick conquest had become a nightmare that grew worse every day. The human resistance was no longer hiding in underground bunkers. They were taking the fight to space, attacking alien ships with vessels that should not have been able to fly, let alone fight. Captain Choi Suman stood on the bridge of her captured alien cruiser, watching Earth grow larger on the viewscreen. Her ship looked strange now, covered with human modifications and additions that made it barely recognizable as Dominion technology. "Target acquired," reported her weapons officer, a former car mechanic named Kim Dae-ho, who had learned to operate alien weapons in just 2 weeks. "Dominion battleship, bearing 27 Mark IV. "Fire everything we have," Suman ordered. The hybrid weapons struck the alien ship from 6 different directions. Human ballistic missiles, modified alien energy beams, and completely new weapons that existed nowhere else in the galaxy. The enemy vessel's shields collapsed under the chaotic assault. "Direct hit," Dae-ho announced with satisfaction. "Their ship is breaking apart." Similar battles were happening throughout the solar system. Human forces, using captured and modified alien technology, were hunting down Dominion ships with growing success. But the real breakthrough came when Dr. Kim Ji-won made a discovery that changed everything. Working in her expanded laboratory beneath Seoul University, Ji-won had been studying captured alien officers. The prisoners were cooperative, mostly because they were too confused to resist effectively. "Tell me about your home world," she said to Commander Vextal, a silver-skinned alien who had been captured when his ship was disabled by human fighters. "Velthera is the center of our empire," the alien replied. 30 billion citizens live in perfect harmony under Dominion guidance. "Perfect harmony," Ji-won repeated, making notes. "No conflict, no disagreement, no chaos." "Chaos is inefficient," Vextal said, as if explaining something obvious to a child. "The Dominion eliminated random variables from our society thousands of years ago. We are optimized for success." Ji-won exchanged glances with Dr. Park Min-ho, who was monitoring the conversation. They were beginning to understand something important about their enemies. "What happens when your plans don't work?" Min-ho asked. The alien looked confused. "Plans always work. They are calculated based on known variables and optimal outcomes." "But what if something unexpected happens?" Vextal seemed unable to process the question. "Nothing unexpected happens. Variables are controlled. Outcomes are predetermined. After the interview, Ji-won and Minho discussed what they had learned. They've eliminated creativity from their entire species, Ji-won realized. They can only follow predetermined strategies. That's why they keep using the same tactics, Minho added. Orbital bombardment, overwhelming force, predictable patterns. They can't adapt when we do something unexpected. This discovery was shared with every human commander in the Resistance. Soon, the entire war strategy changed to focus on doing the impossible, the illogical, and the completely unpredictable. Admiral Song Taiyang launched Operation Prometheus from a hidden base on the far side of the moon. His fleet consisted of 30 ships that looked like they had been built in different centuries by different species. Some were human vessels upgraded with alien technology. Others were captured alien ships modified with human weapons. A few were completely new designs that combined both technologies in ways that violated every known rule of engineering. All ships begin random approach vectors, Song ordered. Remember, if it makes sense to us, it makes sense to them. So don't make sense. The human fleet scattered in all directions, each ship following a different route toward the main alien. Formation. Some flew in spirals, others zigzagged randomly, and a few actually flew backwards while shooting forward. The Dominion fleet, programmed to respond to logical attack patterns, couldn't predict what the humans would do next. Admiral, the human ships are approaching from 17 different vectors, reported the Dominion tactical officer. Their formation makes no strategic sense. Fleet Admiral Zixthak studied the display. The human attack looked like chaos, which it was. But chaos was something his orderly mind couldn't counter. Calculate optimal response, he ordered. Unable to calculate, Admiral, their movements follow no pattern. While the Dominion computers struggled to analyze human tactics, Song's fleet struck with devastating effect. Each ship attacked differently, using weapons and strategies that no alien database could predict. The human ship Defiance, commanded by Captain Lee Dong-ho, rammed directly into an alien battleship while firing every weapon it had. The move was suicidal by any logical standard, but it worked because the aliens never expected anyone to be that reckless. Meanwhile, in the laboratories beneath Earth's surface, engineer Bae Soon-ho was creating weapons that should have been impossible. "Look at this," he said to Dr. Yoon Hae-yoon, showing her his latest creation. "I combined their gravitational manipulation technology with our nuclear fusion principles." The device looked like a metal sphere covered in wires and blinking lights. It was held together with tape and hope, but the energy readings were off the charts. "What does it do?" Hae-yoon asked. "I'm not entirely sure," Sun-ho admitted, "but I think it can create artificial black holes." "That's insane, and dangerous, and completely impossible." "Exactly, which means they'll never see it coming." The weapon was tested on a captured alien ship in Earth orbit. When activated, it created a tiny black hole that lasted for exactly 3 seconds before disappearing. In those 3 seconds, it pulled the alien vessel apart at the molecular level. "It works," Soon-ho announced to the Global Research Network. "I'm sending the plans to every manufacturing facility immediately." Within days, human fighters were carrying black hole generators into battle. The weapons were unreliable, unpredictable, and occasionally exploded instead of working properly. But when they did work, they could destroy any alien ship instantly. The Dominion fleet found itself facing enemies that used impossible weapons, flew in chaotic patterns, and seemed to get stronger every time they were defeated. Captain Choi Soo-min led the most daring mission of the war when she volunteered to capture a Dominion command ship. The vessel was heavily defended and carried the alien fleet's central computer systems. "This is suicide," her second-in-command warned her. "Probably," Soo-min agreed, "but if we can get their strategic databases, we'll know everything about their empire." Her ship, a modified cargo hauler called Stubborn Hope, approached the alien command vessel using a tactic that defied all military logic. Instead of attacking, she sent a surrender signal. The aliens, programmed to accept surrenders efficiently, allowed the human ship to dock. Then Suman and her crew, wearing captured alien uniforms, walked aboard the enemy vessel and took control of it from the inside. "Command deck secured," she reported over the radio. "Beginning data extraction now." The information they captured revealed the locations of Dominion bases, fleet movements, supply lines, and most importantly, the location of their home world. "Velthara is protected by only 1,000 ships," reported Dr. Nam Onbi, who was analyzing the stolen data. "Most of their fleet is here, fighting us." Admiral Song studied the tactical information. "If we can strike at their homeworld, we can end this war." But the aliens were learning too. Fleet Admiral Zixthak, frustrated by months of defeats, decided to use the Dominion's ultimate weapon. "Prepare the planet killer," he ordered. His science officer looked shocked. "Admiral, that weapon has never been used against an inhabited world. It will destroy all life on Earth." "These humans have proven too dangerous to be allowed to survive," Zixthak replied. "We will sterilize their world and be done with this." The planet killer was a massive weapon that could crack a world's crust and boil away its atmosphere. It had been built as a last resort, meant only for the most extreme situations. Elder Prophet Quindara felt the weapon powering up and came to the bridge of the flagship. "You are making the final mistake," she told Zixthak. "Elder Prophet, these creatures have cost us thousands of ships. They cannot be allowed to spread beyond this system. By threatening to destroy their world, you will force them to do something they have never done before," Quindara warned. "Which is what? Unite completely. Every human working toward a single goal. You have no idea what they are capable of when they stop fighting each other and focus entirely on a common enemy. The planet killer's charging sequence would take 24 hours. As news of the weapon spread across Earth, something unprecedented happened. Every human on the planet stopped what they were doing and focused on a single objective: survival. Dr. Kim Ji-won worked with scientists from every nation to design countermeasures. Engineer Bae Sun-ho coordinated with manufacturers on every continent to build them. Captain Lee Dong-ho united every military force on Earth under a single command. The entire human species became a single organism dedicated to one purpose. "We have 18 hours to save our world," announced Dr. Park Min-ho in a broadcast to every human on Earth. "Here's what we're going to do." What followed was the greatest engineering project in human history. 8 billion people working together to build a defense system that existed only in theory. 6 months after the destruction of the Dominion flagship, humanity was no longer the same species that had received the aliens' first ultimatum. The war had transformed them into something new, something that the galaxy had never seen before. Dr. Yoon Hyun stood in her laboratory, which was no longer hidden underground but built openly on the surface. Around her, machines that combined human and alien technology worked to produce wonders that should have been impossible. "The final breakthrough is complete," she announced to the Global Research Network. "We've successfully reverse-engineered their faster-than-light travel system." But it wasn't just reverse engineering. Human scientists had improved the alien technology beyond anything the Dominion had ever achieved. "Our version is 3 times faster than theirs," reported Dr. Park Min-ho from his research station in orbit above Earth. "And it's more stable, more efficient, and can be built using materials found on any planet." Engineer Bae Sun-ho, now leading the largest manufacturing operation in human history, smiled as he read the reports. "Send the specifications to all shipyards immediately. We have exploring to do." The human fleet that prepared to leave Earth was unlike anything ever seen in the galaxy. Ships that looked like they had been designed by artists, engineers, and madmen working together. Vessels that combined the sleek efficiency of alien technology with the creative chaos of human engineering. Admiral Song Tae-yang commanded the flagship Humanity's Dream, a massive ship that served as both warship and exploration vessel. Its hull was covered in sensors, weapons, and devices that no alien computer could identify. "All ships report ready for departure," announced Captain Lee Dong-ho, who now served as Song's second-in-command. "The exploration fleet consists of 200 vessels. But this wasn't a military expedition. It was something far more significant. "Our mission is not conquest," Song announced to his fleet commanders. "We're going to explore this galaxy, meet its people, and show them what humanity can offer." The first stop was the Dominion homeworld of Velthara. The crystal towers that had once housed the Empire's government still reached toward the purple sky, but now they were dark and silent. The remaining Dominion fleet hung motionless in orbit, their crews uncertain what to do without orders from their destroyed command structure. Elder Prophet Quindara waited for the human ships in the capital city's Great Hall. She had returned to Velthara after the battle at Earth, carrying news of humanity's victory to her stunned people. When Admiral Song entered the hall, he was accompanied by Dr. Kim Ji-won and a small group of human diplomats. They walked calmly through the same chamber where the War Council had once planned Earth's conquest. "Elder Prophet," Song said respectfully, "we come in peace." Quindara studied the humans with her ancient eyes. They looked the same as the primitive beings she had seen in the Council's surveillance recordings, but something fundamental had changed about them. "You have traveled far from your small blue world," she observed. "Not as far as we're going to." "Go," replied Dr. Kim Ji-won. "We have a proposal for your people." What followed was the most important conversation in galactic history. "The Dominion Empire is finished," Song explained to the gathered alien leaders. "Your fleet is scattered, your command structure is destroyed, and your people are confused and afraid. You can try to rebuild the old system, or you can join us in building something new." Commander Vextal, the alien officer who had been captured and later released by the humans, stepped forward to speak. "What are you offering us?" he asked. "Partnership," Ji-won answered. "Your people have knowledge and technology that could benefit everyone. Our people have creativity and adaptability that could solve problems you never knew existed. Together we could explore this galaxy and make it better for everyone." The alien leaders looked skeptical. They had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years through force and intimidation. The idea of cooperation was foreign to them, but Elder Prophet Quindara spoke with the wisdom of ages. "I have watched many civilizations rise and fall," she said to her people. "I have seen empires built on conquest crumble into dust, but I have never seen anything like what these humans offer." She turned to face Song and his delegation. "You defeated our mightiest fleet, destroyed our greatest weapons, and proved that you could conquer our empire if you chose to. But instead of demanding our surrender, you offer us friendship. This is unprecedented." "We don't want subjects," Song replied. "We want partners. The galaxy is huge, and there's room for everyone to grow and explore together." The negotiations continued for days. Human diplomats worked with alien leaders to create something that had never existed before, a truly cooperative galactic civilization. But not everyone was ready to accept the new reality. Across the galaxy, scattered Dominion, forces tried to maintain the old empire. Some alien commanders couldn't accept that their superior civilization had been defeated by primitives from a backwater world. Captain Choi Sumin, commanding a mixed fleet of human and reformed Dominion ships, encountered one of these holdout groups near the edge of Dominion space. "Attention, human vessels!" came the transmission from the rebel alien fleet. "You will surrender immediately or be destroyed." Sumin looked at her bridge crew, which now included both humans and aliens working side by side. "Send a response," she ordered. "Tell them we're not here to fight, but we're not afraid to if we have to." The alien commander who had issued the challenge was Fleet Admiral Kethron, one of the few senior Dominion officers who had survived the war. He commanded 50 ships crewed by aliens who refused to accept their empire's defeat. "These humans got lucky," he told his officers. "They caught us by surprise, but they cannot stand against proper Dominion tactics." Kethran had learned nothing from his empire's defeat. He still believed in overwhelming force and predictable strategies. The battle that followed was short and decisive. Suman's mixed fleet used tactics that combined human unpredictability with alien technology. Ships that should have been enemies worked together with perfect coordination. Humans and aliens who had been fighting each other 6 months earlier now fought side by side against those who couldn't accept change. "Surrender now and join us," Suman offered after her fleet had disabled most of the rebel ships. "Or keep fighting and be left behind while the rest of the galaxy moves forward." Most of the rebel crews accepted her offer. They had seen what cooperation could accomplish and wanted to be part of it. But Admiral Kethran chose to flee with his remaining ships toward the unknown regions beyond Dominion space. "Let him go," Suman told her officers. "The galaxy is big, enough for everyone, even those who can't adapt." Meanwhile, the cooperative fleets were making discoveries that amazed everyone involved. Dr. Park Minho, working aboard a joint human-alien research vessel, found star systems that contained resources neither species had imagined. Alien scientists, freed from the rigid thinking of their old empire, began making breakthroughs they never could have achieved alone. "Look at this," announced Dr. Nam Yunbi from her communication station. "We're receiving signals from civilizations beyond Dominion space. There are other species out there, and they want to make contact." The galaxy, which had seemed empty except for the Dominion Empire, was actually full of life. Dozens of species had been hiding from the aliens, waiting for someone to challenge their rule. Now, with humanity leading the way, they began to emerge from their hiding places. Engineer Bei Sunho established manufacturing centers on dozens of worlds, each one producing ships and equipment using the combined knowledge of multiple species. The results were technologies that no single civilization could have created alone. "We're not just exploring the galaxy anymore," he reported to Earth. "We're transforming it." Back on Velthara, Elder Prophet Quindara watched the changes with satisfaction. The crystal towers were active again, but now they housed research centers and diplomatic facilities instead of military commands. "The humans have done something remarkable," she told the other elders of her people. "They have not conquered the galaxy. They have liberated it." Admiral Song stood in the observation deck of humanity's dream, looking out at a star system that had never been explored before. Around him, a fleet of ships from a dozen different worlds prepared to investigate new worlds and make contact with new species. "What do you think we'll find out there?" asked Captain Lee Dong-ho, joining him at the window. "I don't know," Song replied. "But whatever it is, we'll face it together." Dr. Kim Ji-won's voice came over the ship's communication system. "Admiral, we're receiving signals from the edge of the galaxy. Long-range sensors show structures that don't match any known technology. It looks like there's something even bigger out there waiting for us." Song smiled. 6 months ago, humanity had been a single-planet species facing extinction. Now they were leading a galactic civilization toward discoveries that could change everything. "Set course for the unknown," he ordered. "Let's see what's waiting for us." As the mixed fleet of human and alien ships jumped to faster-than-light speed, Elder Prophet Quindara spoke softly to herself in the crystal halls of Velthara. "I warned them not to attack Earth first," she said. "I told them it would change everything. But even I could not foresee how wonderful that change would be.